without waiting for that amount of time. Okay, let's move and look at how logging could create problems. So initially when we talked about path length, we did talk about logging helping in finding the path length. Many people do use log4j as the framework for logging, and many places it's the only aid for problem determination. But one thing, very important thing to remember is every log being written is an I/O to disk, and disk I/O is usually slower than the CPU processing or writing to memory. Now some of these things are the experiences that we have seen is every component trying to write to the same log file. And as you increase concurrency, as you increase number of concurrent users, even during performance tests, you would see that the response time is coming down. And if you take a thread dump and see, we would notice that all the threads are going and waiting on writing to the same file. And what is that they are writing? They are writing logs. And what can be done about it? Agreeing that logs are important. One way out for this is to write to different logs. So all components don't come and wait in the same queue. They go to different log files, and more importantly, to ensure that these logs are not going to the same disk. Because even if it's different files going to the same disk, it's going to be same spindle which is going to rotate and which has to write to the file. And more often, using SAN systems are the best ways for logs to achieve good throughput in terms of I/O. Even in SAN, distribution of disk is going to be the key. End of the day, you don't want to go and rely on the same disk for writing all your log files. We also had a scenario where developers wrote some debug messages, or there were debug messages that were coming in the log. And when we asked the development team, it was a debug message. So we asked the development team, why is debug messages coming in the production system? It took them almost number of days to go figure out where that logging was being written. The reason is they said I'm turning it off in one configuration file, but they had enabled it in another file. So you need to have a good way where you can centralize the configuration of the log files. So when you turn on it's going to work, and when you turn off it's going to work, versus handling it at different components at the code level itself. Again, the last one but not the least to remember is just using log4j, or even if you ask developers, what are you doing for logging? I'm using log4j. That does not answer questions with respect to are you writing it at right levels? Is it okay for performance? Okay. So let's look at what is the impact of the backend systems with respect to performance and why is it